What's up, Toy Fam, and welcome to part 2 of an 8-part series on Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Marvel's Nemesis. We were finished last week with Fabian Cortez. Really good start to the series, and I am just excited for this second part, which is going to be a very special figure because if you would go back a few episodes into the playlist, we've done Age of Apocalypse action figures, and this one comes from that universe. So let us get into the second part of this Build-A-Figure series. Let's get to it. So last week we did Fabian Cortez, and we say goodbye to this exciting figure. For this week we will be doing the right leg of Nemesis, brought to you by none other than the Age of Apocalypse Gambit. The Raging Cajun Gambit. Alright, so we've set the others aside because they're not important for this episode. We are bringing to you the right leg of Marvel's Nemesis. And he is brought to you by none other than one of the most mysterious, if not most loved, mutants from the X-Men, Gambit. Now this one is not part of the current universe or the current timeline. This is from the Age of Apocalypse series. And if you would recall, we did one a few episodes back. Go back to that if you want to rewatch that. And this is an exciting figure because he is not the ordinary Gambit. Alright? So, we're doing the right leg. And let's look at Gambit through the window. And that's there's his weapon of choice, his staff, and you've got, I think, 2 alternate hands. I'm not sure if it has some card effects, but I hope it does. So let's look at the right side. Just says Gambit. It says Marvel Legends. I think it's got an illustration at the bottom. Does it? Yeah, it does. It's got its face. Okay, it's got his face. Now, compared to the Fabian Cortez box, this one has a very different illustration on this side and on the left side. See, it's a very different illustration. All of these came from panels from the Age of Apocalypse series comic book. And on the back, another different Gambit, or a different panel from the Age of Apocalypse series. That's Gambit in an action pose. And what does it say about Gambit? It says he is sent on a mission to help correct the timeline and prevent the immortal villain Apocalypse from conquering the Earth. Yeah. Nobody likes Apocalypse. Yeah. So, you did not come here for the box. You did not come here for the backstory. You're here for the action figure. So let's open him up. Alright, so we got him out. And he's still in the clamshell. What do we have in the clamshell? I am quite disappointed because it does not have any of the throwing card effects. Although I think with our other Gambit figures, we can use those effects with him. All right. So what does he come with? He comes with his bow or staff. Okay. And then you've got an alternate pair of hands, which are just fists, closed fists, and you've got the right leg of Nemesis. So, this is Gambit. So, you've seen the accessories, and we finally got Gambit out of the clamshell, and he's a pretty nice figure coming out of that plastic prison. He's got a very good, solid base, okay? Just out of that, I mean, taking him out and putting him on the desk, he stands really well, okay? Let's do an articulation review. Okay, the back. Okay, the neck is kind of impeded because he's got long black hair, a long brown hair at the back. Okay, which kind of stops his head from moving up. But just a side note, if you look at the accent of his hair, really nice. You know, it even has the strands. It has different locks. It has different angles. Even has that wind effect. Okay, and then what's missing from this gambit, what's missing from this gambit versus what he has in the normal timeline is his trench coat. He does not have a trench coat. He does have cape, a cape, and maybe a hood. Okay, to keep him in disguise. You have the nice muscle strands on the arms, and you have the nice belt and the thigh. Is that a thigh band or something? Okay, so let's do the shoulder articulation. Shoulders normal, yeah, 90 degrees. Bicep twist, pretty nice. And then, as I always like to point out, these are pinless double jointed elbows. Don't you just love the pinless double joint? It makes them look more svelte, more refined, cleaner, if you would call it that. Now, one accent about the shoulders, it does allow for, there's another joint right there that allows for a more inward movement of the shoulder. Okay? So not just the movement of the arms, but the shoulder can move a little bit more towards the center. Okay? So it can kind of hunch in. Okay? And then you have, these two hands are different. This one's supposed to be holding up some cards, not saying, up yours. Okay? And you have the ab crunch. Ab crunch. Does it? Yeah, very small ab crunch over there. You have a waist twist. The waist twist with the belt going along with the waist. Okay? And then you've got the leg movement. Pretty solid leg movement, if you ask me. And then the usual quad twist. Okay, and the knee pads. It's very, very, very distinctly Gambit of the Age of Apocalypse timeline with the pinless double jointed knees. Okay? There's no calf twist, or is there? No calf twist, okay? And then you've got the ankles. Pretty solid articulation. And still, even after going through the motions, he can stand straight. The only thing I don't like about this figure is this cape. It's just loosey-goosey, okay? Normally, let me show you. Let's remove the head. Let's remove the cape. There is a hole at the back, okay? In the other figures that we've seen, like Magneto or even Fabian Cortez, the last week's episode, there's supposed to be a peg on the back, on the cape or on the shawl, and that sticks into the hole on the back to keep it firmly in place. Okay, this one does not have it. That's why it can just move. Okay, that's gonna traumatize a lot of kids with me removing Gambit's head. But we're just doing a review. All right, so not much to say about this. I do like the fact that this is a very clean representation of Gambit. As he's seen in the comic books, he's very svelte. He's very athletic, very streamlined. He's more of a sprinter, or like a long distance runner, than a bulky character. So he's not a powerhouse. He's more speedy. He's more agile, and that's really visible on the muscle tone on this figure. Okay, the arms are not too big. The legs are not too large. Okay, the muscles are not too pronounced. Let's see if you put the staff in his hand, how he would look. Yeah, okay. Now he's an old man. There we go. Nice. That's a nice look. It makes him even more stable because of that staff, but it's not supposed to be a walking stick. It's supposed to be a fighting stick. So, first impression, love the figure, love the details on Gambit. especially how true he is to his Age of Apocalypse version. Plus, if you come closer, I'll put a picture somewhere. His eyes are ruby red, just like in the comic books. Is it? Yeah. Well, you can't see it from here, but it's got that distinct Gambit. The sharp features of Gambit is very, very loyal to the comic book version or even the cartoons. So first impression out of the box, I wasn't really hoping for much, but I was hoping for a couple of maybe a card throwing effects or card energizing effects or even just a couple of cards, but it's not there. So playability, without those effects, he does not have a lot going for him. He's more of a, just a standing figure. Okay. Shelf appeal, again, without those effects, the color is a little bit too dim, too dull for something that would capture your imagination. Although, if you're an Age of Apocalypse nut like me, you would really want to get your hands on any of these figures along that timeline so that you would be able to complete that set together with two build-up figures that came with it. Okay? Now, shelf appeal, like I said, it's an acquired taste, or it's a there's a very specific collector that would want the Age of Apocalypse Gambit. If you love the Age of Apocalypse timeline, you would want to collect all of the figures that come with it or that come on that timeline. But as a standalone figure, shelf appeal, not much. Okay, now I'm just being fair here. I'm just being honest about my opinion. If you have no idea what the Age of Apocalypse timeline is all about, then this figure would be something that you would pass on. All right. Now, price point, again, Marvel Legends are pretty inexpensive for the avid collector. For the random collector, it could pinch the budget, but not so much. Especially if you could get a deal on getting the set. So, final toy review. Is it not cool? Is it cool? Is it totally cool? It's somewhere there between not cool and cool. Definitely not totally cool. I hate to say this because Gambit is one of the coolest characters in the Marvel Universe, and especially in the X-Men family. This one, not cool. Sad to say, guys, especially for the Gambit fans out there, not cool. As a standalone, let me qualify. As a standalone figure, that's what we're judging. That's what we're critiquing here. As a standalone figure, could be so many things that could have been added onto this to make it cool. Now, as part of the collection, all I can say is that it cannot be a complete collection of Age of Apocalypse figures if he's not there. There, I said it. I'm just being fair. All right? So with that, we thank you for watching until the end of the episode. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, if you have a different opinion, put it in the comment box. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you on what you want to see more of, whether it's Transformers, whether it's superhero, supervillains, or things from the past on Throwback Thursday. With that, we thank you for watching. We hope you like this, and if you do, hit on the like button, smash that subscribe button to be a part of our ever-growing toy family, and hit that bell button so you'd be notified of any future content that we will be putting out. Don't forget to like us and follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Before we end, as we always do, we remind everybody, especially our beloved subscribers and toy family, toys are not just cool. They're totally cool. So happy collecting. Bye-bye.